I thought you were a bore.
I'm kind of a nice guy, and you're really a very lovely girl, with or without your cleavage. And Kelly, what do you say?
We've been working on this show, and I was pretty careful about, being involved with actresses, and I think to a certain degree Goldie was.
What about before that?
Before?
Yeah, when you very first laid eyes on me, what were you thinking?
What does it take to get on Goldie Hawn's bad side? Over her decades-long career, she's been forced to draw the line with some of Hollywood's most famous faces. From controversial co-stars to behind-the-scenes drama that almost derailed her films, Hawn's hidden blacklist tells a story of survival in a cutthroat industry. Will your favorite stars make the list? Let's find out. Before we move on, I would like you to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Number 1, Chevy Chase. When Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase teamed up for the 1978 comedy thriller Foul Play, fans expected magic. Hawn had already proven herself as a gifted comedic actress, and Chase's career was soaring after his rapid rise from Saturday Night Live. But while their on-screen chemistry worked, what was happening off-screen was far less harmonious. Behind the scenes, Chase's unpredictable behavior quickly turned a promising collaboration into chaos. Known for his improvisational style, Chase regularly went off script, frustrating the director and confusing the cast. To make matters worse, he had a habit of undermining others on set, often with bitter humor. Hawn was no exception. Crew members recalled snide remarks Chase made about her comedic abilities, remarks that felt dismissive of the years she'd spent crafting her craft. Worse, he made these jabs despite her clear success as a performer. For Goldie, who had built her career on both wit and professionalism, it was a line crossed. Tensions came to a head during a heated moment overheard by a crew member when Hawn openly expressed her dismay over Chase's behavior. After Foul Play wrapped, she made a strong decision. She wouldn't work with Chase again. This experience marked a turning point, one that cemented her resolve to set boundaries. Still, challenges like this wouldn't be her last. Number 2, Warren Beatty. In the 1970s, Warren Beatty was at the peak of his fame. Known for his magnetic charm and string of high-profile romances, he was a Hollywood powerhouse both on and off screen. But when it came to Goldie Hawn, his usual tactics didn't seem to land. Beatty's pursuit of her wasn't limited to casual flirtation. Colleagues noticed how persistent he became, hoping to win her over on more than a professional level. Hawn, however, wasn't interested, and her rejection exposed a side of Beatty that few saw. When Hawn refused his advances, the dynamics shifted. According to accounts, canceled meetings and missed opportunities followed, leaving Hawn to feel the effects of Beatty's quiet retaliation. Suddenly, projects they'd discussed became vague promises, and conversations she'd once entertained began to feel transactional. Reflecting on such experiences, Hawn later remarked that mixing business with manipulation was something she couldn't abide. Instead of engaging, she stepped back, choosing to protect her career and peace of mind. Even though avoiding Beatty meant bypassing major projects, Hawn refused to change her stance. This decision was a lesson in holding her ground, reinforcing her long-standing principle: relationships, in any form, should never come at the cost of self-respect. Next, her resolve would face a new test, this time under harsher scrutiny in a casting room. Number 3, Dustin Hoffman. For Goldie Hawn, the chance to audition for a serious dramatic role was more than just another Hollywood opportunity, it was a chance to shift perceptions. Known for her comedic timing and bright screen presence, she had already cemented her status as a box office draw, but she wanted to prove there was more to her artistry. The casting room was tense, filled with industry heavyweights evaluating her potential to break free from the limitations of her comedic reputation. Among them was Dustin Hoffman, whose reputation for intense method acting preceded him. From the outset, Hoffman's demeanor set the tone. As she performed, giving her all to prove her range, Hoffman watched intently before delivering a comment that landed like a blow. She's still playing it like a sitcom. There was nothing constructive in his words, just a smirk that cut through the room like glass. Hawn later reflected on how dismissive it felt, as though Hoffman had already made up his mind about her. Any hope of a real collaboration vanished in that moment. By the next day, Hawn made her stance clear, telling her agent she wouldn't fight to be taken seriously by men who had already dismissed her. She walked away. It was a defining decision. Critics may write her off, but Goldie refused to stick around for it. Hoffman's attempt to shrink her only solidified what she knew. Her talent didn't need validation from anyone unwilling to respect it. This would not be the last time her patience with another performer ran out. Number 4, Bill Murray. In the late 1980s, Goldie Hawn was set to collaborate with Bill Murray on a comedy, a pairing that had audiences eager with anticipation. At the table read, however, the excitement quickly faded. Known for his unpredictable style, Murray brought a chaotic energy to the room. He arrived late, barely acknowledged the structure of the script, and ad-libbed his way through the read. For Hawn, who valued professionalism and preparation, these antics immediately set the wrong tone. Things took a harsher turn when Murray, mid-session, aimed a dismissive remark at Hawn in front of everyone, saying, "Why don't you try acting like you've done drama before?" Delivered with a smirk, it felt less like a critique and more like condescension. Witnesses described the moment as uncomfortable, with Hawn remaining composed, but clearly unamused. His comment struck at the heart of her career efforts to balance comedy and deeper performances, and it blatantly ignored her years of success. Rather than engage, Hawn responded in her own way. She left. Quietly and without fanfare, she withdrew from the production altogether. This experience pushed her to steer clear of chaotic, male-dominated comedies going forward. It wasn't worth the chaos, and she wouldn't babysit egos to prove otherwise. Number 5. Sean Penn. At a high-profile charity gala, Goldie Hawn took to the stage to talk about mental health and mindfulness. For Hawn, this wasn't just a speech, it was a personal mission. Her advocacy for emotional well-being has been a cornerstone of her public image for years, and this event was another opportunity to shed light on a cause close to her heart. The room was filled with Hollywood's elite, including Sean Penn, whose reputation for intense opinions preceded him. As Hawn spoke, Penn's reaction was impossible to miss. He rolled his eyes, muttered a scoff loud enough for surrounding tables to hear, and reportedly quipped that she should stick to giggling. The comment felt as though it was designed to diminish her entire message, reducing her passion to just a persona she had worked so hard to expand beyond. For Hawn, it wasn't just insulting, it reflected a deeper issue in Hollywood's treatment of women who dare to step beyond their perceived roles. Rather than take it as a personal slight, Hawn internalized the dismissal as a reminder of why her advocacy mattered. Afterward, she quietly adjusted her boundaries. She refused to share future spaces with Penn, choosing to focus on environments where her work and voice would be respected. Number 6. Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas was undoubtedly one of Hollywood's most revered figures, a towering star with charisma that spanned generations. But when it came to his interactions with Goldie Hawn, that old-school charm frequently veered into territory that felt condescending. Douglas, often known for his exaggerated politeness, would greet her with flourishes like hand kisses and winks. While these gestures might have been intended as flattering, they had the opposite effect on Hawn. She later admitted they made her feel more like an ornament on set than the accomplished performer she was. Even after she had won an Oscar, Douglas's focus seemed to land squarely on her appearance rather than her talent. Comments about her looks became a recurring theme, subtly sidelining her achievements. Hawn reportedly felt suffocated by these interactions, as though her professional success could never fully outshine the way she was perceived by some men in the industry. Reflecting on moments like these, Hawn later said, "Some men don't deserve a second act in your memory." Instead of letting resentment linger, she chose to move forward. Rarely mentioning his name publicly, Hawn quietly but firmly established boundaries. This approach worked, allowing her to solidify a legacy built on her talent, not someone else's outdated perspectives. Goldie Hawn's career, spanning more than 5 decades, proves that success in Hollywood isn't just about talent, it's about setting boundaries. Through the moments we've shared, a clear picture emerges. Hawn consistently refused to stay in spaces where she wasn't respected. Whether it was rejecting power plays, walking away from disrespectful behavior, or choosing peace over chaos, her choices weren't just personal, they were strategic. She showed that resilience doesn't mean tolerating everything, it means deciding what's worth your energy. This philosophy protected her well-being and strengthened her legacy. In a tough industry, Hawn remains a symbol of grace and self-respect.